Hey, this is JD Frost. Welcome to the Daily Ledger podcast. I appreciate you tuning in. We've had lots of awesome guests that have been on the podcast the last, I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 episodes. We've been able to interview lots of people. And one thing I wanted to share with you today is just this past week, I was able to go on a family vacation. And we've gone on this vacation for the last 12 years. We've gone to the same location. We go to St. Simons Island, Georgia. And I don't know if you remember this or not, but the reason we started going to St. Simons is there was an oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, the BP oil spill. And we used to go to, what was that beach called? Orange, it wasn't Orange County. It looks close to Gulf Shores. Orange Beach, I think is what it is, close to Gulf Shores. And anyways, we couldn't go there because of the oil spill. So we were like, oh, let's go to St. Simons Island. One of Lindsay's friends had a wedding there. And so we went to the wedding and we kind of fell in love with the place. And when I was in high school, I was reflecting while I was at St. Simons. I do a lot of reflecting while I'm on vacation. I highly encourage you to do that. Lots of journaling. I think about past times. I think about what I want to do on during this next year, where I want to be. I write down some big goals of where I want to be at this time next year. And as I was reflecting on that, I was looking across the ocean and I could see Jekyll Island, Georgia, right across there. And when I was in high school, I actually went to a retreat called Fun in the Sun with my church. And I went to that retreat with Lindsay. She was actually on the retreat with me. And so we were in high school and dating. And I remember looking across the Atlantic Ocean back over to St. Simons Island. And as I was looking across there, I heard that it was a pretty cool place to vacation. And I sat there and I remember being I can remember like it was yesterday, being on the beach and being like, man, it would be so cool to go to St. Simons Island with my family one day. And that's one thing that I reflected on while I was there this past year, is that's actually happening. And it's happened 12 times. And I'm very, very grateful for that right now. And so I also reflected a lot on, as I was growing up, I was able to, and lucky enough to, and blessed enough to be able to go on a family vacation just about every year when I was growing up. I know that's not a regular thing for a lot of people, but I want to encourage you in your own family to go on a regular vacation every single year to a common spot, to a spot that you remember that feels like home to you, like St. Simons Island does to us. This will create so many memories for your family. It will create routine for your family. It will give you something to look forward to every single year and something to reflect upon, to remember every year too. And Lindsay and I hope that our grandchildren go with us one day, our great grandchildren go with us one day. Well, and it's just such a powerful thing that you can do. This year on the trip, I was able to wake up and see the sunrise. Ever since I got sober, I've been able to actually wake up early. In the past, I've not been able to do that. And the last few years, I've woken up every single day for the sunrise. In St. Simons, about this time of year, the sunrise is at about 6:30. So this year in particular, I've been reading this book called The 5 a.m. Club. And the 5 a.m. Club is this story about this entrepreneur who meets this very wise, successful billionaire. And the billionaire talks about the fact that getting up at 5 a.m. and getting up early every single day can elevate your life. And it's not necessarily the fact of that you're doing all these really, really great things or like this specific routine every single day. It's the fact that you're just getting up earlier and waking up and having an extra hour, an extra 2 hours in every single day. So you're literally waking up at 5. So I woke up at 5 every morning, and I'm not perfect at it. There were times where I woke up at like 5:15, 5:18, 5:20, but I woke up in the 5 a.m. hour every single day. And I'm continuing to do that right now. And I encourage you to do that each and every day. And yes, that includes weekends. And the last chapter that I read before I actually came back home from the beach was this entrepreneur was saying, hey, should I also get up at 5 a.m. on the weekends too? Can I have the weekends off? Well, you're probably going to get the results from the effort that you actually put in. So really the successful billionaire in the story said, you need to wake up 100% 100% of the days, every single day, 7 days a week, waking up at 5 a.m. What this has done for me in my life here recently is it truly has elevated my life. I feel like I have more control over my day. I am able to get a lot more accomplished. I am actually focusing that first hour of the day. In this book, it talks about your heart set, your mindset, your soul set, and your health set in the first hour. If you're able to allocate 15 minutes to each one of those, you are going to completely control your day from there on out. And I guess the biggest takeaway that I have from my vacation is that early hour routine on a daily basis that not only helps me get up earlier and get control of my day, but it also helps me to go to bed earlier, to go to bed. I've got to go to bed at like 10 or 10:30 in order to be able to wake up that early. And what the heck does that have to do with anything else that's going on? The more that I read, the more that I listen to successful business owners, the more that I listen to podcasts just like this one, everyone that seems to be successful, that seems to be at peace, that seems to have a routine, they are getting up earlier and earlier and earlier. And they do it on a consistent basis. And on those days when they do not get up that early, they give themselves grace for that day. That's what's so impactful about day one. While I was on vacation, we were releasing a lot of this speech that I had, and I'm going to be doing a little bit more of a series on day one. If you continue to listen to the podcast over the next few episodes, I thought a lot about day one because we were releasing parts of a speech that I did back in April. And some parts of this speech are things that, I mean, I was okay speaking in front of people that I knew supported me. I was okay, saying whatever. It's okay to do that on the stage. For me, it's a lot easier to be able to communicate those things on the stage rather than just releasing it to the world for anybody to see, for anybody to judge, for anybody to have an opinion on. And that's one thing that I'm working on, is being a lot more vulnerable. But it was hard to watch those. It was hard to watch those videos being released while I was just kind of on vacation, honestly. And I want to be real. I want to be transparent. I want to be, I want to be completely vulnerable, because I feel like that those times when we're completely vulnerable, that's when we can relate the most. That's when you can truly find out more about who I am. I can find out more about who you are. And that connection can be made a lot quicker. And so as I was sitting there, on this vacation, reflecting on day one and reflecting on getting up early in the morning, it started to hit me that this idea of day one is truly, truly powerful. And it's been a concept that has helped me to overcome any challenge, any doubt, any fear, any loneliness that I've been feeling. Getting up every single day and writing day one at the top of my daily ledger helps me to be able to overcome obstacles that I never thought that I could. It helps me to ask and close, 7-figure deals, 8-figure deals, and to be bold enough and courageous enough to be able to do that. And to have those tough conversations with my wife, with my parents, with other relationships that I have in my life. It gives you the courage to be able to do that. At Croft and Frost, they talk about building courage and creating wealth. The way we're able to do that, I believe, for me, what works the best is this concept of day one. And so reflecting on that over the last couple of weeks, we're going to have a series a little bit more where we're talking about what makes up day one, the daily reminders, the daily actions, the daily accountability. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth on each one of those. And I'm also going to be able to reflect more on what has happened over the last few weeks and relating some of the real situations, some of the real stories that have been happening here recently, in order to be able to show you that vulnerability, in order to put that out there a little bit more, so that maybe you might be able to connect and relate to some of those stories, and maybe, just maybe, you might be able to start to apply these concepts of the 5 a.m. club, these concepts of day one, the daily ledger, accountability to your life in order to truly find peace. The ability to overcome these obstacles really is a peaceful thing, and that's what I've experienced a lot lately. And I'm very excited to be able to share that with you. I want to be able to share that with anybody and everybody as much as I possibly can, and that's why we have this podcast. That's why that we're, sitting here talking today. Is that hopefully when you're listening to this, that you're pulling one little thing out that you might be able to apply immediately. That's the thing that I love when I hear the Jesse Itzler, really good speaker. He always gives us actions that we can do immediately after he speaks. And it's something that I can apply the very next day. And that's the way that I want this next series of the podcast to be, to where you listen and you're able to apply that one thing. And I would say that one thing for this podcast is try getting up tomorrow at 5 a.m. Don't think about what you're going to do when you do that. Just get up, have a cup of coffee, and just reflect. Just sit and spend some time meditating or prayer. Could just be just to have some time, just to get some time back. And I think it'll elevate your life tremendously. I know it will, because it's done that for me, and I've seen it do that for others. So I appreciate you tuning in to the Daily Ledger podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Please write a review. I would surely appreciate it. And if you ever want to be on the Daily Ledger podcast, I'd love for you to reach out to our team. And we'd love to interview you, be able to hear your story, what you have going on in your life. Maybe we'd be able to help you overcome some doubt, some fear, some isolation. You never know. But thank you so much for tuning in and listening. I really appreciate it.